praise the Judge of Truth. We began with Psalm 90. And now we continue with Psalm 121. It's a sad day, and at the same time it's a beautiful, lovely day which God created. Esai enai el haharim ve'ayin yavo Ezri. Ezri me'im Adonai oseh shamayim va'aretz. Al yiten lamot raglecha. Al yanum shomrecha. Hine lo yanum v'lo yishan shomer Yisrael. Adonai shomrecha. Adonai tzidcha al yad yaminecha. Yomam hashemesh lo yakaka v'yarech v'layla. Adonai yishmarcha mikol ra. Yishmor et nafshecha. Adonai yishmar tzidcha v'wecha me'ata va'ad olam. I lift up mine eyes unto the mountains, from whence cometh my help. My help comes from the Lord, maker of heaven and earth. The Lord will not let your foot give way, your protector will not slumber. See, the protector of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. The Lord is your guardian, he is your protection at your right hand. The sun will not strike you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will guard you from all harm. He will guard your soul. Your going and your coming, now and forever. And let us together recite the 23rd Psalm in English. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. As you and I spoke about your beloved friend Gene, we are gathered here for Eugene Mendelson. You said his parents are buried here? His father's here. Let me take a look.
Yeah. I thought he was buried next to his dad, but I don't see
Berman, Bruce, Forward.
it. That's what he always told me, Rabbi. So.
I'm sure that he told it, and it was relatively accurate. This is how this happens in life, right? So, well, what we'll do is, at a later date, we'll find his folks, at least his dad.
I know he's had this for years and years.
Okay. Well, when we gather to bury your dear Gene, I think about a Jew who doesn't go to services very often, and a Jew that doesn't go to services very often usually tries to get to one of the high holy days, either Rosh Hashanah or Yom Kippur. It's like a Christmas and Easter Jew.
Yeah.
I mean Christian,
Yeah.
you know, a C&E
Yeah.
Christian. Yeah, there's a Catholic, you know this,
I
right?
know that, yeah.
So there's a beautiful teaching about Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement. It comes from the Talmud, and it's a reminder of your dear Gene, because it says that on the holiest day of the year, on Yom Kippur, when the high priest would go in to the innermost sanctuary in Jerusalem, that he would offer prayers on behalf of himself, that he would be worthy to represent the Jewish people, that God would cleanse him of his transgressions. And then he would pray on behalf of his family that they would be cleansed of their transgressions and their sins. And then the high priest would pray on behalf of the whole community of Israel, the whole Israelite community. And then when he was done with those prayers, the people waited for him to come out, and then he would come out. And then it says he read a brief section from the Torah, the 5 books of Moses. It doesn't say which section he read. That part isn't important. I think if you're the high priest, you can probably choose from the 5 books of Moses as you see fit. And then it says he would read a brief section from the Torah, and then he would say, far more than I have read to you is written therein. And so it is for your dear Gene. Far more than I can say, far more than you can say or even know, although you've known him for a long time, is the life of your dear Eugene Mendelson. And so we can say what we know about your dear friend. Gene was born in Cleveland. He was a World War II veteran. He was honorably discharged from the Army, as symbolized by the flag which you have. And we thank that generation. Even he was in Hawaii, don't know what he did. However, we thank that generation, those who served, because if they hadn't served, we might not be here. We certainly wouldn't be here in the same way we are here today.
My father too.
And your father, absolutely. He had a sister and a brother. They lived out of state, and now his whole generation is of blessed memory. He was married for a short time, did not have any children. He did have friends, and so you are counted among them. He was in sales for many years. He was in Halley's and May Company, and then he went into floor covering, and that's where you met. Tekka Distributing Company.
Correct.
And everybody loved him there. And as you said, Marianne, he showed concern. You were divorced. He showed concern for your kids.
Mm-hmm.
So he had this heart.
Yes, he did.
And so it was sad that he didn't have any close family. He did have close friends, and he traveled. He loved music. He loved people. He didn't need all the, some people are very concerned with all of the material things that they can gather. He was kind of a minimalist, you say. And could have afforded to keep his house in a better condition than it was? Yeah, but he's like, well, what do I need to do that for? Keep it, it's okay. I live my minimal life. I'm driving this car. Could I afford a more expensive car? Yes, but really why? I mean, I've got what I need. He did, however, go more than the minimal amount for his friends and his emotional connections. He was more than a minimalist in that area. Minimalist in the materials, more than a minimalist in the emotions. He had a very fine sense of humor. You could see a lot in his eyes and his facial expressions. You said, you would just see that from the other side of the office, and it would just make you laugh. He lived many years in Lakewood, and when it came time for him to move into an assisted living facility, the O'Neill Healthcare, he wanted to stay in the hood. He wanted to stay in Lakewood. He really liked it there. They took very good care of him. They loved him there. And Chaplain Tom said the staff was very sad when he passed, and they want to express their condolences. And let's say this here, Gene. Not everybody who's in a nursing home, when that person passes, not everybody in the nursing home is upset sometimes because the person was a pain in the neck. He was a little bit of a pain, but not a but not a bad pain.
Good one.
He was a good pain. His favorite nurse was named Bob, Nurse Bob. And, if Gene needed something, hey, he could roll in his wheelchair and go right down to Nurse Bob and say, hey, this is what I need. Please take care of it. They will miss him, and they miss him already. He was, as they say in Yiddish, a gute neshama. He was a good soul. And he breathed his last on July 29th. At the age of 93 years old. And Judaism believes that his soul is returning to God to be with the souls of his dear relatives and the ancestors of our people. We learn this in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, verse 7. The dust returns to the earth as it was. The spirit returns to God who gave it. And so the soul of our dear Gene Mendelson is returning to be with God. Judaism talks about the afterlife as Olam Haba, which means the world to come. it's an entirely spiritual existence. This is a place. Olam haba is a time. It's an eternal time. Judaism also believes that when we go, that the souls of our loved ones commune with the souls of their loved ones. So it is our fervent hope that his soul will be together with his parents and other loved ones in his life. So there is no more pain or deterioration. There's just rest and wholeness and peace. And as you have sent some pictures of his family with him, you have allowed us, thank you very much, to send along, we sent along a Passover Haggadah and a High Holy Days prayer book, which we will use for Yom Kippur. And Passover is, of course, the liberation of our ancestors from Egyptian bondage. I mean, they were slaves. We were slaves in Egypt for hundreds of years. And that was a long time ago. And we still remember it. And we go day to day remembering that was in our past. So he is now free of any difficulty. So we conclude with words in the first chapter of the book of Job. Adonai Natan, Adonai Lakach, Yehi Shem Adonai Mevarach. The Lord hath given, the Lord hath taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Amen. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, my rock and my redeemer. Amen. That comes from Psalm 19. If you can, please rise for the El Maleh Rachamim prayer. I will chant it in Hebrew and then in English. El Maleh Rachamim, Shochen Bamromim, Hametzeh Menucha Nechona, Tachat Kanfei Hashchina, Im Kedoshim Utorim, Kizohar Harakia Masirim, Et Nishma Eugene Mendelson, Shahalach L'olamo, Ba'al Harachamim, Yasti Rehu B'Set Shekerafav L'olamim, Vayitzror B'Tzror HaChayim, Et Nishmato, Adonai Hu Nachalato, V'yanuach b'shalom al mishkavo v'nomar Amen. Compassionate God, eternal Spirit of the universe, grant perfect rest in your sheltering presence to our dear Eugene Mendelson. He has entered eternity. O God of mercy, let him find refuge in the shadow of your wings, and let his soul be bound up in the bond of everlasting life. God is his inheritance. May he rest in peace, and let us say, Amen. May those who mourn the loss of Eugene find comfort in the hope that though the dust returns to the earth as it was, the spirit returns to God who gave it. Death is not the end. Those we love have passed through the gateway of the grave into the peace of life eternal. We know that all of us must tread the same path, though we know not when the hour may come. Let us so live that the coming of that hour shall find us unafraid. May our deeds do honor to the memory of our beloved, whom you, O God, have taken to yourself. Trusting in your wisdom and loving kindness, we praise your name as we recite the Kaddish Prayer. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, Ba'alma divrach chilutei v'yamelich ba'chutei. V'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayechol Beit Yisrael v'agala v'zman kari v'yimru amen. Yehi shmei rabam uvarach le'olam u'lamei al maya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kudusha b'richu. Le'elah min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata ta'amiran ba'alma v'yimru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shmaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. The translation of the Kaddish. Kaddish does not mention death at all. It's a praise of God, sanctifying God in loving memory of your loved one. Let the glory of God be extolled. Let his great name be hallowed in the world whose creation he willed. May his kingdom soon prevail in our own day, our own lives, and the life of all Israel, and let us say, Amen. May his great name be blessed forever and ever. Let the name of the Holy One, blessed be he, be glorified, exalted, and honored, though he is beyond all the praises, songs, and adorations that we can utter. And let us say, Amen. For us and for all Israel, may the blessing of peace and the promise of life come true. And let us say, Amen. May he who causes peace to reign in the high heavens, let peace descend on us, on all Israel, and all the world. And let us say, Amen. We're now going to place earth upon the vault lid, helping to escort your dear Eugene's body to its final resting place. You can do this if you wish, if you can get around. If not, we'll find a way. May I have you lead the shovel to me, please?
Put one in?
Yeah.
Sure.
If I can.
Here. You know what I'll do? Here, let me. Here. Let me give you a little bit of earth, and then you pick it up, and you
Can I take it up?
Yes, of course you can.
And
Go right
just-
ahead. Lech Yishalach Adonai, go your way, for God has called you. Lech Adonai Ye'imach, go your way, may God be with you. And last one. V'halach lifanecha tzidkecha, kavod Adonai yasvecha. May your righteousness go before you, and may the glory of God receive you. May God console you with all who mourn in Zion and Jerusalem. Amen. We will recite the Kaddish Prayer that we just said for Gene for a whole month at our synagogue every Friday night service for the next month. And we do that just because it's a privilege to